This is Cityville. The residents here want what everyone wants: access to good jobs, affordable housing and transit, safe places to gather and play, and healthy food options. But parts of Cityville, like so many communities across the country, have suffered from decades of disinvestment. In the conventional financing system, investments take the path of least resistance, meaning that money flows into places that are already competitive and deals that are straightforward. So while some parts of Cityville flourish with new housing development and bustling economic activity, others struggle without nearby grocery stores or public transit. The community investment field was invented to direct money from various sources: banks and local institutions, government, and other investors, to disinvested communities. But as it turns out, finding a supply of capital is just one part of the equation. The other part is a community's capital absorption capacity. What's that? Capital absorption capacity refers to how effectively a community can take in and use capital to advance its priorities. In Cityville, a diverse group of stakeholders came together to explore this concept of capital absorption. Each of these stakeholders cared about the community and the health of its residents, and they wanted to find ways to work together to improve conditions for Cityville residents. While discussing their shared vision for Cityville, the stakeholders quickly realized that if an investor showed up tomorrow, ready and willing to make a significant investment in Cityville, they wouldn't have answers to key questions like, where would that investment go? Who would be equipped to manage it? And how could it best support community priorities? To establish these answers and guide their discussion, the Cityville stakeholders used the capital absorption framework. This framework highlights 3 functions that are critical to effective community investment systems. The first function is articulating shared priorities. With effective community investment systems, partners clearly articulate a set of shared priorities. Because these priorities will shape investments, it's important that they're neither too lofty nor too narrow. The priorities should be grounded in the perspective and experience of all residents, especially those intended to benefit from additional investment. In Cityville, stakeholders agreed that increasing affordable housing was extremely important, so they landed on this shared priority: 2,000 new and preserved affordable housing units in Cityville over the next 5 years. This priority fit into that sweet spot of both ambitious and actionable. The second function is creating and executing an investable pipeline of deals and projects. With effective community investment systems, partners develop a pipeline of feasible deals and projects that build on each other in order to achieve the community's priorities. This is important because a single deal is often not enough to help a community achieve its priorities, and working on deals one at a time is slow and inefficient. Most investors only see the deals they're involved in and don't have a clear picture of what else is in the works. This makes it harder to ensure individual deals can build on each other to create meaningful change in a community. By creating a pipeline of deals and making it visible to all, Cityville stakeholders could see how individual deals fit together, and they could assess whether those deals would get them to the shared goal of 2,000 affordable housing units. They were able to spot gaps and work together to identify projects to fill those gaps. They also found opportunities to move multiple deals together at once, rather than one at a time. The third function is improving the enabling environment. With effective community investment systems, partners assess the enabling environment. It's important to remember that shared priorities and pipelines don't exist in a vacuum. There are many contextual factors, like policies, regulations, access to data and skills, and relationships that can make it easier or harder to advance shared community priorities. These factors make up the enabling environment. By assessing the enabling environment, partners can identify opportunities to change policies or processes, or to bring in new partners and expertise. When Cityville stakeholders took stock of their enabling environment, they noted the bright spots and gaps. They identified what steps they could take to make things work better in achieving their goal of 2,000 affordable housing units. Using the capital absorption framework helped the Cityville stakeholders see the big picture of their community investment system. They identified missing stakeholders and unseen opportunities, as well as recognized uncoordinated activities and systemic barriers. With this knowledge, the stakeholders began to build a shared foundation for community investment in Cityville. Cityville isn't alone. Across the country, communities are pushing back against decades of disinvestment by strengthening their capital absorption capacity. Every community wants a fair chance to provide economic, social, and health opportunities for its residents, and the capital absorption framework is one way to get there.